Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of the Los Angeles Lakers Network podcast. I'm Sean Davis. Make sure you guys subscribe here to the channel. Turn on those post notification bells as well for more great content. The audio feed is coming. I'm going to, get on our producers and our higher ups or whatever you want to call them, and we'll get that set up for you guys. And then once it is set up officially, we'll have some of this stuff back rolled, I think, proper wording there. But episode 2, we got my guy, once again, Corban Ford here. You guys can follow him on at Twitter at Corban NBA, also host of the Indie Basketball Podcast. I feel like I want to botch that every time. Corban, my guy. Well, welcome in, bro. How's it going?
Hey, man, I'm good. Happy to be here, especially off a Lakers win. I love chopping it up. So, as always, appreciate it, but not too bad.
Not too bad at all. And this is, you're now 1-1 on post game appearances. Last time we did this was not as fun of a show. Lakers got dogged by the Clippers, 116-102 in that one. I kind of want to go back before we kind of go forward here. And this is, we are going to get to the game. But I think it's important to provide some context. I think it would have been 2.5 days ago, 2 days ago, or 3, whatever, timing's off, especially when you consider the time this gets posted. Anthony Davis sits down with Charania of The Athletic. I'm not The Athletic, of ESPN. Of The Athletic just rolls off the tongue a little bit easier.
We're used to it, yeah.
Yeah. Charania of ESPN, he sits down with him, and he basically says he basically applied pressure to the point where I don't think we've ever seen him do, and it definitely in his Lakers tenure. That's definitely been more of a Bron move, but I think it's a good one by AD. It's a little bit calculated too. I'm gonna give Clutch some credit here because I definitely think Clutch is a part of that. Mm-hmm. Because if that's Bron, then you can still look bad, but to a point, he's 40. Like, are we gonna invest into a 40-year-old, right? This is your superstar that's 32. Yeah, that's 32 that you just extended not too long ago, that you have been marking up as like, look, this is the guy we're building to, we're building with long-term for the post-Bron era. It's AD. And that's the guy that goes out and kind of bashes the front office to pieces and says outwardly, we kind of have known this already. But outwardly to everybody going, no, I've wanted to play the 4 for the past 4 seasons, and I've told them this, and they've just disregarded me and said, hey, F off. You are 5. And yeah, basically openly calling them out. And then my take out that I love it, AD. I love it. Great job.
I'm with it.
Do not have a stinker against Boston in terms of effort or energy or whatever. So help me God, if this team has a stinker or low energy and low effort against Boston, I will lose my crap. And they did it. They had a great performance against Boston, the best win of the season easily. And they follow it up with a really, really good win against a mediocre-ass Warriors team, yes, but a really good win against the Warriors in terms of effort and performance level. Really good win against the Warriors in another game where Anthony Davis looked dominant as hell and Jared Vanderbilt returned. We can start with the AD discussion. I mean, what were your kind of initial reactions to the AD? I mean, we talk about the Bron reaction after the Clippers game. What was the reaction? AD drops the interview with Shams and kind of the performance the past 2 games.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, well, first I want to say I was off slightly. He's 31 still. He turns 32 in just over a month and a half, March 11th. So my bad on that, just, posterity's sake. But anyways, going back to your question, I liked it. I agreed with you. Here's the thing. I thought whether or not he performed well against Boston or not, it wouldn't have mattered. If anything, I thought if they did bad against Boston, it would lend further credence to the fact that, yes, we need some upgrades here. And you may pat yourself on the back, front office, for making one move, but we need more, right? The fact they played even better, and we'll talk about tonight's performance as well, is a totally different story. But I was happy because the Lakers, like you said, for LeBron, it's twofold. One, he is 40. So how much help, that sort of thing, the semantics of what can we get for it? What can we get to help him out? That whole thing, building for the future or trying to go for now. so it's one thing to have your centerpiece, not yet 32, like in the prime of his career, saying, "Hey, this is what I need." Another thing, though, is that LeBron we talked about this when we talked about him after the Clippers game. This is what LeBron does. So at a certain point, it's easy to kind of tune it out. Like you hear like noise in the like construction, whatever. After a while, you can kind of like. I'm not comparing LeBron's noise to construction. I'm just saying it turns into like ambiance noise that you just kind of move through. AD is not like that. LeBron has been complaining about the roster in some way, shape, or form. I would say every year since the championship year. Sometimes, more monumental, sometimes smaller, but like he has. AD's not done that. This is kind of new for him. At least it has been, almost half a decade since his New Orleans years, since he was saying something as like direct as, "Oh, no, we need this. I want to play this position, and this is where we are." So, it's definitely a shift. I think it definitely puts more front office more front office. It definitely puts more pressure on a front office that, in my opinion, needs it because they've gotten off real lucky with their stars compared to some other teams. Let's just, for reference, Milwaukee's had more pressure from Giannis. And they won a championship a year later than the Lakers did. They've had more pressure from Giannis and made more sizing moves in the last 2 years than the Lakers have done the last 4. And really, the only move they made was that big Russ trade, which we don't got to talk about. So, yeah, I thought it was definitely a big deal.
Yeah, it was a really, really big deal. And even a bigger deal, arguably, is how they've come out and looked since then. That is awesome. Let's now get to the game that we're kind of discussing and talking of after the fact. Lakers versus Warriors. Bron Steph as a one-on-one matchup typically never disappoints, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason why the league will market this matchup to death until both of those players are long retired. Tonight, on the other hand, was a little bit of a different story where the Lakers won, obviously, or maybe you didn't know Lakers won. Lakers won 118 to 108. That wound up being the final score. I don't think the final kind of represents what that second half in particular was. As it goes for the LeBron and Steph matchup, I think for the most part, LeBron held up his end of the bargain. He landed on his shoulder kind of hard at one point, and it kind of you could tell it affected him for a couple possessions. He was also listed as it was downgraded to questionable at the start of the day due to the left foot thing that he's been battling with all season, and really for the past 2 seasons now.
Yeah.
I will say it's gonna be interesting to see if this team can buy Bron any rest. Do they consider sitting Bron second half of back-to-back in Philadelphia? That's something to keep an eye out on. But regardless of those factors, LeBron still kind of held up his end of the bargain. 25 points, 5 boards, 12 assists, 12-25 shooting for the night, only 3 turnovers. If you go to Steph, though, 13 points, 9 assists, shot 4 for 17 shooting. Like I said, the LeBron Steph matchup normally doesn't disappoint. Tonight it did. Dalton Knecht, Gabe Vincent, Max Christie, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt. We're going to talk about some individual guys here in just a sec. But, where do you want to kind of start the conversation with, Corbin? What's kind of your biggest takeaway from tonight's game?
I think we got to start Jared Vanderbilt. I think we got to start with his return. I think he was a reason why, in addition to Dorian Finney-Smith and Max Christie and Gabe Vincent and that platoon of defenders that kind of made it difficult for Steph as the game wore on to kind of get going. But Vanderbilt for me is the big story. His numbers don't pop on the page, but if you watch the game, the activity, we missed it, the extra effort, even trying to be that guy. How many times did we see most up to the season, most of the season, where a shot attempt for either team, let's just say for the Lakers, and AD goes for the ball, and if he doesn't get it, okay, everyone's either retreating, not really actively engaged. Jared Vanderbilt was always around the boards, whether or not he got it. He disrupted a few on the defense side of the ball. He kept a few possessions alive on the offensive end. He was always there on the backside with AD battling in his minutes, and defensively, how cool is it to see someone kind of guarded with the point of attack? A few times, to engage in a pressure defense for the Lakers. Lakers defense, hey, let's try to survive. We'll switch. We'll do what we got to do. But this was more of an aggressive defense with Vanderbilt there. And I love that pairing of him and Dorian Finney-Smith. So I think that's kind of where I'd like to kind of start on. What you think from him?
So with Vando, I think I'm glad you kind of touched on it there. I think it's pretty obvious now. And some of the guys I think do consistently bring extra efforts. But I think it's so apparent now, like how many more guys on this team like have extra efforts. Like the lineups that they can run now with extra effort dudes. I think Max pretty consistently provides extra efforts. I think Dorian Finney-Smith, I mean, he's absolutely going to provide you. And we're really talking role players here. I mean, I think AD for the most part is going to provide an extra effort. Austin competes. I think that's one thing you can't say about Austin. I think he tries his hardest. But yeah, Max, DFS, yeah. Gabe's balling. We're gonna get to Gabe in a second. I feel
balling, yes.
But then Vando too, man. I think Vando is like the epitome of just like second, third, fourth, fifth efforts. And he is a magnet to the ball, man. Like when the ball is like live and it's not in his hands, specifically offensively, he's a magnet, man. Getting his hands to the passing lanes. His rebounding effort is really, really fun to watch. I'm not gonna say that. I think he gets proper credit from Laker fans as a rebounder. My thing that I'm a little nervous about with Jared Vanderbilt is how the Lakers deployed him defensively in the lineups without AD. In the lineups with AD, I think we'll just see him in his like typical role defensively, where he's kind of guarding your wings and he's on the perimeter and things of that nature. But in the small ball lineup with him and Braun and maybe it was DFS out there too, they had him guarding the big, but they weren't really switching. They were just having him play in a drop. And that kind of takes me back to the Utah film with Jared Vanderbilt, where Jared Vanderbilt had its lowest impact defensive season of his career. And I'm like, I'm a little worried now. But with AD, some of the other stuff, like I'm not concerned. I think offensively, I'm actually really excited how they utilized him. We got him as a short roll passer, as a on-ball screener, which I think makes some sense. I felt like it was a more even distribution of dunker spot versus corner usage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, overall, I'm kind of pleased with Vando's performance and how they were used, how they used them. Outside, one game sample, so I want to like, see some more of the defensive stuff in terms of schematics. But I'm pretty pleased. I'm really pleased with how Vando played. Obviously,
yeah, I like the way you brought up the scheme that he was in, because when I said point of attack, I really meant in select situations where he was guarding Podziemski or kind of going after Steph, and he would be screened off, of course. But for the most part, like I thought he did a really good job of being engaged in that way of like deploying him there. But like you said, once they kind of got to the half court defense, yeah, that's an interesting nugget that I didn't really pick up on as consistently, especially compared to Utah. I forgot, like in between Minnesota and LA, like the dude spent some time where like he was there. So yeah, that's gonna be something to monitor moving forward. Like you said, small sample size.
And going back to the Utah days, I think that was his best offensive year or stretch of his career. But because I think offensively what they did in Utah, I think we're again one game. I think we saw kind of what made him effective in Utah. The short roll stuff, the being used as a ball screener, or just a screener in general, honestly, or DHO initiator. Again, more dunker spot action than corner stuff or just sitting dead in a corner. I will say he played with way more confidence, I feel like, with the ball in his hands that season in terms of attacking than we saw him in LA, which could be fake. I'm gonna lean towards this fake for the time being. But yeah, Vando was great tonight. And the lineup, they had a lineup that didn't last long because Gabe dealt with some foul trouble. But the lineup of Gabe, Max, Gabe, Max, DFS, Vando, AD is scary as hell. Defensively, offensively, I'm scared as hell. But defensively, is scary as hell because is Gabe the worst? I mean, Gabe or Max, and we are both very much like fine with them as defenders. I think they're both actually really good defenders, and those two are pretty comfortably your worst defenders. So that's saying something.
I think in general, no, you're right. That's going to be scary. In general, I love the second half defense of the Lakers. I think they forced a really good 24-second shot clock violation. And even, Mike Breen and Doris Berger could talk about how they were connected, attached to the ball, rotations, crisp. Like, it was really solid. There was a few possessions like that in general. And mind you, the Warriors had some just lackadaisical plays. You know how they play with their flub. When it's not working, you have no-look passes into the stands and things like that. But like, this was legit Lakers defense just locked in for a stretch I haven't seen in a minute,
Lakers' next 3 games. Now, they have a mini gauntlet, but the next 3 games are Charlotte, Philly, Washington. Again, Charlotte and Philly is a back-to-back on the East Coast, so we'll see how that goes for LA. But you get out of that stretch alive, then you're coming in, speaking into existence, on a 6-game winning streak with, at the time, the 3 most important games of your season, because these are the 3 games, really 2, preceding the trade deadline, which will be the Knicks February 1st at New York. So that's going to close out your East Coast trip. Then you come back to Cali. Yep, prime time. Then you come back to Cali. You go like 20 minutes down the street to play the Clippers February 4th. The trade deadline is February 6th. You play that night. So what the Lakers do on February 6th is likely to be determined with these next 5 games.
Yeah. The moment of truth. This is the real gauntlet right now. Like you said, like, valuation time. I mean, and it's across the board. This isn't just for the Lakers, but specifically for them, because you did just get Vanderbilt back, right? So now and you're trying to ramp him up. Like, he's not playing heavy minutes. He was on a real kind of strict stint on the court. But you're right. Now's the time where it's okay. These are who we have. And mind you, the same trade assets they've had for the year, basically, right? Minus D'Angelo, right? Yeah. So not a whole lot there. No new wrinkles, no difference there, unless somebody like knocks them off their socks with an offer for, I don't know, somebody that max or something that isn't in the mind of being traded. So at that point, you're right. It's gut check time. Like, what do? We know we need, because we have to get that. How do we do it?
The Lakers right now sitting at the 5th seed. They've won 3 straight. Excuse me. They've won 5 of their last 6 since the California Fire. So they obviously had the very, very underwhelming outing against the Spurs in the first game back. But since then, like I said, they won 5 of the last 6. They only sit, and this sounds like a big stretch, but they only sit 4.5 back of the 2 seed right now. 4.5 back of the 3 seed as well. They're only 2 games back of the 4 seeded Denver Nuggets, who I want to say they play 3 more times. Yeah, they play Denver 3 more times. They haven't played Denver at all this year, have they? No, they did once.
One time, if I remember.
You play the Clippers 3 more times. You play Dallas, I think, 2 more times. Like, there's some room, man. There's some room for this team to bump up. I kind of want to have this conversation, and that's kind of why I brought up the conversation about the standings. Corban, are the Lakers true contenders? And before you answer, I've kind of got some flack on Twitter because people are treating it like I've kind of flip-flops my take on the team in general. I flip-flop my takes on players maybe, and that's just, new information that the data gives you. But my take the whole year has been, regardless of whether they are or they aren't, you have to give the duo a chance, right? I think I put the tweet. I made the point about that on Twitter yesterday, and why that's why you got to make a move. And I said, actually, I think I went as far as saying Walker Kessler, for an example, is a needle mover. I don't think that makes them tier 1 contender necessarily, like Boston, Cleveland, and Cleveland's kind of slipping low key. Boston, Cleveland, OKC. That doesn't make them that, but they're like title contenders, and it's a needle mover. And then somebody in my mentions goes, well, yeah, but would people have told you that, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford made them needle movers? And the answer is no. I mean, no, wait, no, not needle movers. Would they tell you that trade made them tier 1 contenders? The answer is no, but kind of proving my point, because the whole point of that is, look, we're going to give our group a shot. right?
Yeah.
You just want to punch your shot. Maybe you get some favorable matchups. Like, I think Dallas low-key did banged up Clippers team. I just think Dallas matched up well with in general. And you also have to recognize Luka was hurt. OKC, who I think we all can probably see, Dallas is the one team OKC is like, hell no thank you.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota, where Luka could just feast in against drop all series. Like, they have favorable matchups that you get to the finals, and it's what it is. That's been my stance on the Lakers all year. You just give them a chance. If you don't make it, you don't make it, but give them a chance. So now we're on the actual conversation. Are the Lakers real contenders? Not should they give this group a chance, but are they real contenders, Corbin?
Oh, yeah. It's tough. It's tough. I'm going to go and say, geez. I'm gonna say no right now. I'm gonna say they're like right there. They're on the cusp. But like for me, a contender, like you said, like it's almost a no-brainer. Like if the Lakers win it, how shocked am I? On a 1 to 10, probably a 5. Like, could they do a Miami-esque run to the conference finals, or even a Lakers-esque run to the conference finals like they did in 2023? Possibly. But like you said, like the amount of matchups. Like, do I like a Lakers matchup against Dallas? I think it's interesting. But I also think Dallas can cause problems. The Thunder, same thing. The Wolves, same thing. The Nuggets, same thing. There's a lot of teams the Lakers are in that conversation with, but in my mind are like definitely a tier below. Or not a tier below, but I guess a drop below. So for me, they're in the swirl, which I know is not a great answer, Sean. I apologize for that. But like in my head, I can't just be like, yeah, they're contenders. No, because certain nights they are, and I'm like, yep, they're playing with that consistency. They have that edge. AD is cooking. LeBron's LeBron. Boom. Then you have another night where AD can't buy a bucket. LeBron just doesn't have the juice. The role players aren't bringing it, and they aren't winning. You know? And it's not like, oh, any game's a game with them. No, some games they get hit in the mouth, and it's like, I bet we out. You know? So as currently constructed, playing the way they have over the last couple of games, yeah, I can see it. But given what we've gotten, the data set up to now, I don't know if I can say that with confidence.
I think that the Lakers are a move away from being one of the contenders.
There you go.
Again, my stance doesn't change. I don't think they're on the level of OKC necessarily, but I think people hear that and get offended. Like, I'm not saying that they couldn't beat OKC. I'm just saying that they wouldn't be like on that level from the start, right?
No, if anybody's saying that from the jump, I mean, look at the two teams. Like, let's be real. We're all Laker fans, love the Lakers, but like, they're not. They just haven't been all year. They're just not.
Right. Now, again, just make the deal and you give them a shot. And I do think they play like it for the past 8 quarters of play. I think they have. I thought their game plan against they've won 5 of the last 6 as well. I thought their game plan against Boston, defensively especially, was probably their best game plan of the year. I think they did a great job executing it as well. Tonight, I thought was another great all-around game from everybody. AD obviously showed up to play. I think the point about, and this is why you can't like sip on the Kool-Aid quite yet, is the point you made that, like, look, great last 8 quarters. But there is a San Antonio Spurs game from a week and a half ago just lying out there somewhere.
Just
like that is that's gonna happen. Or the December, maybe not this bad, but the December 4th Miami Heat game is lying out there as their legit possibility somewhere for this team. Now, I would like to think that they're kind of past that, but like this team still has those inconsistencies that you would see, which clear some of that stuff out. I would need it if they were to keep this roster exactly the same, no trades. I would need an extended stretch, like a month, damn near, of good win, good win, good win. Okay, that's a loss, but damn, they look good. Go win, go win, go win. You know what I'm saying? Like they have one good win on the season still. At the end of the day, get a trade, and I'm there. I'm saying yes, they're one of the contenders. But yeah, like that Boston win's the best win of the year, but it's also like their only real good win of the year too. Just saying. But they're in a good spot. They're going to have a lot. Memphis, too. I keep forgetting those Memphis wins.
Yeah, me
but
too. They're right there, yep.
You're going to have a lot of opportunity. Like I said, New York and then Clippers back-to-back. Then you have, after the All-Star break, you have Denver, Dallas, Minnesota, Clippers twice, Knicks. Oh, my God, this stretch up to the All-Star break is insane.
Better get that rest. Gear up. I see why
Charlotte
LeBron turned down the skills challenge.
Charlotte, Portland back-to-back, which two bad teams, but it's a back-to-back, so it's going to be tough regardless. Mm-hmm. Denver, Dallas, like these are in a row. Denver, Dallas, Minnesota, Clippers second half of back-to-back, Clippers again, Pelicans, Knicks, Celtics. Okay, you get Brooklyn, breather. Milwaukee, Denver, Phoenix, Milwaukee, Denver. That's like their first, 20 games after the All-Star break. That's absurd.
That's like a murderous row of teams. And like, I feel like not only do you have good opponents, but that's like that layout that you just gave is literal trap games.
They played Denver on the second half of back-to-back twice. That's brutal. And both against Milwaukee. What the hell?
Wow.
Milwaukee being like the first night and Denver being the second night. Like, why?
Yeah, that's like I said, it's a schedule coming up literally with trap games. I could even see a game where you got to rest LeBron and Charlotte decides to make all their threes. Like, or a game where Portland, which can give the Lakers some fun matchups, decides to steal one. Like, that's rough. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm just saying I want to be realistic too, because even those games that were looking like, yeah, Lakers should win that. They should. But like we'll see. That's tough. That's like you said, that's gonna be. Part of me wishes we could see some of that before we get to trade deadline time, because Lakers are still gonna try to make a small move and then go into that. Well, I guess we'll know real quick are the Lakers contenders, within 2 weeks after the trade deadline. The problem is it'll be 2 weeks after the trade deadline, and it won't be anything to do about it.
Yeah.
I guess Mark out there.
Right. Lonnie Walker? Hey.
Oh, listen, I love me some Lonnie.
Do you have any attachment to the Miles Turner stuff?
No, I've heard about it. I don't know how much smoke is there. I know his contract situation. I think that if he is available, the Lakers go for that. Like honestly, I might put both first round picks out there for that. At least, or I put one first round pick and one heavy protections, because like Miles Turner fits. He's a 5. You could put AD at the 4 in name only, whatever. But like that's a perfect fit for what the Lakers provide. He gives them a stretch element they don't get from their bigs. He protects the rim really well. He is relatively mobile. He does bring a defensive presence. Like, I don't know how much truth there is to those rumors. I imagine there's something there, because like it's gotten some steam over the last week or so, right? But like I said,
especially that they haven't extended them.
Exactly. It's kind of telling on that front, right? In a contract year. And given what he's done for Indiana and all that going into play, I'm like, yeah, if that's a thing, you owe it to this core, you owe it to the front office to sniff around, investigate, and then try to go at it. And even if he's not, even if it's like, oh, we could trade him, make it that you do trade for him. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'd be looking at if that's an actual reality.
Yeah. Miles Turner or Walker Kessler, same asking price.
I'm going Miles. Like, Walker Kessler's younger. Huh?
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
Walker Kessler's younger, but you're trying to win right now. I think both provide that element. Except Miles Turner gives you more offensively. Like, he can finish around the basket. He can shoot the ball with range. Like, Kessler can't do that. He's hit a few corner threes the last couple of years, but like, there's a big difference, right? I think that having a guy that can work alongside AD on both ends, a guy who can get a basket where you're not totally bereft, from your big position when AD's out. I like Miles Turner better. I get that he's older. He's going into his 10th season. 29 or he's 28 or 29 to like Kessler's 22 or 23. And I understand all that. But I'm also looking at the right here and right now. And Miles Turner's played the big games. He's been in, like, Kessler's not even been in the playoffs. Like, Turner's been there, kind of knows what this is about. Like, it's a guy for the here and now. And he's closer to AD's age. So it's actually for the next, if you're going to...
It matches the timeline.
Exactly. You got it.
Look at some data really quickly here on Miles Turner.
I want to hear what you would do, too, between those two, though.
for me, I would lean pretty not easily. I would go Miles Turner though, because I think the easy concern I think that you would get, especially from like a lot of the fan base, would be, you know, well, what about in the playoff setting anyway? The spacing or whatever. We're gonna play AD at the 5 a lot in the playoffs anyway, and like some of that's justified, but dog, Miles Turner, legit floor spacer, legit 3-point weapon. So far this season, Miles Turner shooting 43.9% on pick and pop threes, 39% on spot up catch and shoot threes, 37% in transition from three. By the way, this is all on pretty decent volume. He's taking 57 pick and pop threes, 118 spot up catch and shoot threes. In general, catch and shoot threes, he's taken 202 this season. So I feel like a lot of people knew Miles Turner was a really good shooter. I mean, so I just want to add on to the to the belief. I think he's a capable, not a great, but capable post-up scorer. And then defensively, Walker Kessler has him beat. I'm not even like gonna try to pretend that he's a better defender than Walker Kessler, because I think that's the appeal of Walker Kessler, is how damn good he is defensively, along with the fact that he's younger. I think Walker Kessler is a better screener, also a better rim finisher than Miles Turner, but fits the timeline. You would actually also have more leverage, I think, in a Miles Turner situation, because, like, again, what are you doing then?
Where are you gonna go? Yeah.
Like, yeah, what are you doing? Or if you're not gonna trade him to us, okay, then just extend his ass, because otherwise you can't be picky, right?
Yep.
I'm trying to get a comparison really quick. I'm trying to compare AD and Walker Kessler right quick. So yeah, but anything else that you think we can be touched on with the comparison with those two?
Not a whole lot. I mean, obviously you have the youth being a factor there, and the contract situation as well. But I think Miles does enough there, especially if you do keep. I don't think you keep. Do you keep Vando in that?
In what, a deal?
Yeah, if you trade for Turner, I feel like he has
Rui.
like Hachimura is not enough, is he?
No, it's Rui. Well, then that gets to an interesting conversation.
Rui and Gabe, yeah, like that. That's
now do you trade Gabe?
Exactly, and now Gabe's just starting to turn the corner consistently. He's had a few games in between, but he's just starting to turn the corner consistently. Do you now move him? For
oh wait, I don't know why I thought Miles Turner was making more money. Now this is also a downside of the Miles Turner thing. You're like, are you willing to pay him this summer? Rui and like JHS essentially works.
Bye. Sorry.
Now, considering the fact that you're going to have to pay him this summer, what draft compensation are you sending out, if any?
I mean, he's I'd say a top 12 center.
Miles Turner, 15 feels safer. Although if I actually did it and it is 12, I would. I'm not.
You know what? I could split with you and say 13 to 15.
Okay.
It
feels safer.
Yeah, no, because top 10 feels kind of crazy. But then I'm like trying to think actual real centers, and I'm like, where do I be placed this year? And
Jared Allen, Evan. I'm going. Okay.
Oh, just naming centers that would be on.
I'm just naming centers that would probably take over Miles Turner. Jared Allen, Kristaps, Cat.
Yeah.
I'm not taking Brooke.
Rudy Gobert.
Bam. I'm going east to west first.
Okay.
Bam. Healthy Embiid. Okay, that's 5. Chet, healthy. Sengun. I'm probably taking Sengun.
Sengun Zubac?
I'm probably taking Miles Turner over Zubac, but that's close. Jokic, obviously. AD, obviously.
Yep. AD's not a 5, though. Remember that.
Remember that. Rudy Gobert, but it's closer to people are willing to admit. I think at this point, Rudy's having a down year. Demontis Sabonis.
Walker Kessler.
I'm taking Miles Turner.
Yeah, I'm being funny, but I'm trying to look at other teams. Phoenix,
Wemby. Okay, so
Wemby,
yeah,
Nick
13
Richards,
to
I'll take
15.
him over. Nurkic, I'll take him over. But those guys are in like the back half anyway. 13 to 15 sounds right.
Yeah, 13 to 15 sounds.
And I would take him over Şengün for the Lakers' needs. Like as an overall center,
sure.
You're taking Şengün. For the Lakers, though, like, yeah, I'm taking Turner. So I think about it, but I would. So no, even with that, like I would say, I'm saying all that to say if I had to give up a protected first round pick, or even if I was haggling and had to give up one first rounder, I would be annoyed. But such is the market. I'm sure the Lakers offer is not the best offer teams would get out there for Miles. You know, it'd be a competitive offer, but is it the best offer? Probably not. So if I had to part with one first rounder, sure. Now I just went crazy and said I give up two, but now I'm thinking about it. No, I probably wouldn't do that. But I would definitely be okay giving up one.
All right, I'm almost ready. I pulled up a bunch of different stuff. Shout out to B-Ball Index and my guy Cranswick Basketball. Go check him out on Twitter.
Yes, that's the guy. Yeah, the B-Ball Index is an amazing resource, and their podcast, Lake Receptionalism, is a really good one as well.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go season grade.
But yeah, that's kind of where I fall on that. I'm trying to think of other centers. I think that's solid. Like he would instantly I think that would be improved on this end for sure. All right, let's see some numbers.
All right. I'm gonna take us off camera. So this is season grade. So where they ranked up for that individual season, the best defensive season for any of the players. We'll add. We're gonna take off. We're only gonna focus like defensively. Neither one of these guys are like great playmakers, and neither one do I really really care about. LeBron, and I'll kind of explain as much as I can, like some of these. Hold on, wait. Add one more like interior metric. We'll go post defense. All right. So overall LeBron. So basically, the best player, the best season the best overall season any of these players have had overall, accounting for offensive and defensive impact, is last season Miles Turner. That's the best season these two players. Second best season this season Walker Kessler. Third best season this season Miles Turner. Worst season by I guess a decent margin will be this season. Last season Walker Kessler. Best individual defensive season would be last season Walker Kessler, last season Miles Turner, this year Miles Turner, this year's Walker Kessler. Better screener is pretty clearly Walker Kessler. Better rim protector, if you're going by rim defensive field goal versus expected, Walker Kessler. The better rim finisher is Walker Kessler. This season, Miles Turner's had a really bad rim finishing season. In terms of finishing talent. Offensive rebounding talent is Walker Kessler by a lot. Help defense, it is this season Miles Turner, but last season Walker Kessler was an elite help defender.
Okay.
Screener mobile, so basically we're talking like versatility. Walker Kessler.
Interesting.
Although like this season, like Miles Turner's like this is what he does, but the fact that Walker Kessler is this high up is somewhat impressive. Screener, like the ability to protect the rim while like guarding in a screen action. Miles Turner this year, Miles Turner last year, Walker Kessler the last 2 years are third and fourth. Best post defender, Walker Kessler by a lot. A+. I'm going to have to look at some of the film, but some of that's interesting to the point where, I know Walker Kessler is good, but maybe to the point where I underrated Walker Kessler. Yeah,
I guess that's possible. We already thought he was like really, really good as a defender, but it could be even more than that,
Yeah. All right. But
does that offset? Does the defensive value offset that offensive skill set that Turner provides? Because for me, it's close, but it doesn't.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I mean, I guess to be fair, the metrics we looked at kind of just negated everything that Miles Turner does for you offensively, which is part of the appeal of Miles Turner. Is he's not the A+ defender. If you want to call Walker Kessler an A+ defender, he's not that, but he gives you substantially more offense while being an A- defender, comparatively speaking. So I don't know. You guys let us know in the comment section below. What would you guys do? Would you guys first off, who would you guys prefer? And I guess maybe this is the same question, same asking price. Would you go after Walker Kessler or Miles Turner? Let us know in the comment section below. But Corbin, we got some AMA questions here, so let's get into it. First off, let's go with my guy Siren Wessel at Wessel Siren. I hope I pronounced that correctly, considering that I've known you on Twitter, been a Twitter mutual of yours for a while. I apologize. Overall, JJ evaluation is what I love to hear from your perspective. I think he's done some really bad things, but I feel more confident with him than I did with Darvin. Corbin, I mean, what's got to be your evaluation of JJ Redick so far through, what is it, 43 games now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that JJ, there's been maybe some mistakes in terms of rotations, how he decides to play different lineups and how long he takes maybe to kind of tinker or not to tinker, but at least he does. Like Darvin, the word I would think of, it's like, and this is probably a bad example, but growing up in New York, you drive the subway and you have your people who are like definitely, other side of the tracks. You got those that are like not quite there, but they're just like strange. Like you just find yourself kind of like looking like, interesting. That's what Darvin reminded me of. Like the multiple 3-guard lineups when rebounding was clearly a need. Obviously we already know what's the word I'm looking for? Let's say general reflection as a player with Taurean Prince. That's the way I'm saying. Like there were so many things that Darvin did that made absolutely no sense. Didn't really have an argument to them even while it was happening. With JJ Redick, like maybe he has some lines you're like, okay, I don't understand why we are still rolling with Max when he's cold or when he's making bad mistakes, or why we have two bigs out there when offense is clearly a need and Jackson Hayes is having one of his Jackson Hayes quarters. Like there's certain moments here and there where JJ is like, it's interesting, but there's not a lot of them. And for the most part, I think that he has been putting out good game plans. I think even the players will say themselves, the execution on their end's not been great, but his ability to kind of get a team prepared, his ability to, have that attention to detail, definitely got an AD more involved in the offense. I think they kind of went away from it. They got back to it recently. They kind of went away from him being like the hub, so to speak, but they're going back to that. And I think some of that was, figuring out the D'Angelo Russell situation, Austin Reeves assuming the actual point guard role. Been a lot of adjusting. And I think that's the big thing. Like, Redick has adjusted in ways that Darvin Ham either did not, well, he didn't, but either couldn't or he wouldn't. We don't know.
There's a lot of things that being relatable, not even that, but like in general, being a good communicator and getting somebody that could get your players to buy in, like that can mask a lot of coaching issues. And I think that's kind of what we've seen from JJ in year one, to the point where I think you are optimistic. I think this is the point in the question in general. I think I am optimistic about JJ in general still, especially for the long call, because I think he relates to the players well. I mean, for one thing's for sure, I think JJ can communicate his ass off. I think he's able to relay messages really, really well, and keep the locker room in the right place that needs to be at that given time, given his very, very recent experience as a player. And then also immediately covering the league after he was while he was still playing damn near, because he was podcasting while he was in the league. I think there are some stuff offensively, defensively that can be, more fleshed out, I guess. But overall, man, I think year one, he's done a really, really good job at, like I said, communicating, getting the locker room to buy in. I think some of the personnel management stuff has been, noticeably better. I think for as much hell that the fan base has like given like Darvin Ham for his timeout management, JJ's been I don't think I've seen anybody complain about JJ in his timeouts all year. JJ's like noticeably good with his timeouts and things of that nature. And some of the smaller stuff to where like the bigger things, which you can honestly, maybe this is bail, but the bigger things that you can maybe attribute to just lack of experience, you feel confident that those things can kind of come along as his coaching career continues to grow. And I think if you're a Laker exec right now, you got to be excited by that. Got to be excited by that.
100% agree. I think that it's a sign moving forward. There's actual trust. And they talked about this before when he was hired about like trying to win now, but also building up this program, actually having a coach for the future. They've had 9 coaches in 10 years or something crazy like that. Dating back to Phil Jackson. So you really want to have a sense of stability moving forward. And that kind of goes off that faith in your coach that he's going to make the right decisions and put your team in position to, contend while they're in the contention window. And then when it comes to rebuilding, reloading, all of that. And JJ at least is not given any reason as to why you wouldn't think that, right? And like you said, those intangibles, the fact that his message is resonating in the locker room and the way he is able to be skilled and savvy with the media. And the fact that he's doing the best he can with the hand he's been dealt. Like, he can't make the moves. That's on Pelinka, right? So with all that taken into consideration, I don't even think it's a comparison. Like, he's definitely better. The numbers reflect it. The team reflects it, and it kind of is what it is there.
Let's see. We got chill catch vibes on Twitter. Gabe talk. Tough to just trade him right now, right? He kind of touched on that a little bit. I put out on Twitter again. The deadline's in 10 days. They have some decisions to make right now, and that's also a question from a couple other people. Right now, you're the Lakers. What's the talk with Gabe Vincent?
If the right move happens, I'm trading him. Like, if the right move comes across, if it was Miles Turner, like we just talked about, and Gabe is the magic, bye. If it is for Walker Kessler, see ya. Even if it's for Alonzo Ball, interesting. Let's think about that. Gabe has definitely played a lot better. I love the fact he's getting more confidence. It took him a while to do so, but hey, he's doing it. That's all that matters. Unfortunately, when you are the Lakers and don't have, to use a fancy word, a cornucopia of assets, with which to make moves, it's not like you can go, let's go to this shelf. Let's go to this shelf. You have 3 players, essentially, right? Rui, Gabe, who's the other medium-sized salary? That's it, actually, because you're not really trading Jared Vanderbilt. JHS is another guy. Christian was another guy. Jackson Hayes another guy, but they're in a different tier in terms of salary. Flotsam. So, yeah, if it's between Gabe or Rui, honestly, Rui, I mean, the fact, he isn't even in this game. When he is playing, I'm not gonna lie, he has a way of fading in and out, right? But the front court needs help. I think having that depth is important. If I had to pick between him or Gabe, I think he just does more the Lakers need than Gabe does. Gabe, they need him, but Gabe is a smaller version of Max Christie. He's not a playmaker in that way. He'll make the right pass, but he's a defensive-minded guy who will make things difficult and hit shots. And that's great. But if I had to pick that or more front court depth with Rui, at least I know I have a different look with him. And can maybe go small with him, whoever I trade for the 5. If I don't trade Rui, you have him, AD, Vando, Rui, all of it, DFS. You have a bigger team. And I think that's the identity the Lakers should go for. But yeah, I spent too much words to say, yeah, Gabe, it would depend on the price. But if the price is right, he's gone. He's definitely not untouchable. He's not even I would hesitate,
Yeah, I think Gabe is nowhere near the untouchable tier.
No.
But Gabe's playing well. I think we can acknowledge that for sure.
He has been playing very well. Love to see it too. It just took so dang long. At the point that my mind was already made up, now it's okay, great. He's having a great stretch. And mind you, it's been consistent. It's been the last month. It's definitely been these 8 quarters have been between Boston and now. These are the best 8 quarters of his Lakers career.
Right. At Battle 8797, who do you think should start, DFS or Vando? So we are completely eliminating Rui from the discussion. Fair. My answer would be DFS. My answer is DFS. I think that's who they would pick too, personally. But what would your pick be?
I hate to be that guy, but why not both? Like in
Get
my
Ricky.
mind, it'd be a bigger lineup, and maybe Max Christie would be the. Oh, that's why. That's why not both. Because Max Christie would be the fall guy. I'm like, you could just put like DFS is more of a 3 than a 4, but I think he could play the 2 from like the position that he like just a shooter, off ball shooter, that kind of guy.
Who,
So I'm like,
DFS?
yeah,
Okay.
like I don't like he's a swingman, right? So like, but would you say he's more of a 2-3 or a 3-4?
3-4.
3-4.
3-4. Because then if your idea is putting DFS at the 2, you are essentially saying Austin Reeves, you're bringing the ball up the floor every single possession of the game. It does not matter if you're getting blitzed, full court press. Doesn't matter. You're bringing the ball up the floor every single time.
Yes, I agree, but like we're not far from that now. Like Anthony Davis brings it up before Max on most occasions. Like it's
fair enough.
So, but I get you on that. So no, I will agree with that. So then if that's the case, no, you're right. If I had to pick between them both, I will say DFS. He brings, he may not have the level of, he's not far off defensively from Vando. And he does provide a very useful skill set of shooting the threes. That Vando, like, okay, if he's making plays in the short roll, active in the dunker spot, help side rebounding, that's great. But the gravity of shooting, like your floor is not great. If you could cheat off of Vando, which you can, to kind of help off LeBron and kind of, junk up that LeBron AD 2-man game, Austin Reeves, Max Christie to make it up by themselves. They could be hot or cold from 3. Yeah, I think you just need DFS just to have that bounce on the floor. And then Vando's like that secret sauce, utility knife, like extra weapon, like your batarang, if you will.
Yeah, your batarang. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in the comments saying that is Rob going to press the red button? I'm hoping that red button is not the equivalent of Drake's Family Matters. Although best track in the beef, fight me. It got nuked immediately because Kendrick dropped like 2 songs back to back.
Yep.
So
DEFCON 5 on them.
Yeah. And then so hold on, wait. I got on everybody's bad side by my Drake Family Matters statement. I'm going to get back on everybody's good side by saying that everywhere else in the beef, Kendrick squashed them in, especially when Drake dropped Hard Part 6. That shit was terrible.
That was ish.
Yeah, that was bad. The most like to the point where it hurt him dropping that. I feel like, dog, you never mind.
It was a step.
I'm gonna refrain, bro.
It was Kendrick Nunn with the Lakers. I'm just kidding.
Oh man, jeez. 616 LA is a sleeper. It's so good.
No, it is.
So
now I'm gonna be playing that when we're done.
Justin Larson, would you rather keep a trade for not keep a trade. Would you rather make a trade for a rental expiring? So let's think, I don't know, Miles Turner. Or is Lonzo expiring? I think
Lonzo's another year.
Lonzo's another year?
I think he does. Maybe I could be wrong, actually.
Lonzo Ball is expiring. So
he's expiring. Wow.
Would you rather make a trade for a rental expiring or a cost controlled big if the asking price was similar?
I guess he did miss 2 whole years. He has a player option though.
Lonzo, no, he already used the player option. The player option was for this season currently.
He already picked it up on contract?
So like this summer he's an unrestricted free agent. This summer he's unrestricted, yeah.
Yeah, 25, 26 he'll be, yeah. Okay, my bad. Yeah, I'm like, either way, that's crazy. Wow, missing 2 whole years will do that to you then. Glad he's back.
So maybe I'm not understanding the question correctly, but like, are we like comparing a expiring contract big to a cost control big? Which I think I'm assuming that's the direction we're going with here. So like the comparison would be something on the minds of like Miles Turner or this is disgusting, or Jonas Valanciunas, cost controlled but like longer terms, or even like a Vucevic, like a Walker Kessler versus a Vucevic. You're gonna have to pay Walker Kessler, or it's Vucevic that's, cost controlled because like. No, give me the better player.
Yeah,
and I think I'm just like
I'm with you on the same.
Justin, we follow you know me. So if I completely jacked up the question, just give me a shout, bro. If we do go after a guy, Coach Killer, if we do go after a guy like Lonzo, would you rather want to use Gabe in just minimums? That's a lot of minimums to get to Lonzo's contract, though. Lonzo's at 21.3. Gabe's at maybe 11. It's like 10 point something, or it's like 11. It might be a little bit over 11.
I think so, yeah.
Gabe is 11 on the dot. Okay, good job. So yeah, that's like all your minimum contracts to
Nice
get to
even
Lonzo,
number.
right? So no, because no. Let's see. All right, if Miles Turner is actually traded, it's from NBA Planet. If Miles Turner is actually traded for, does he enter the starting lineup? Who goes to the bench, DFS or max? So let's assume it's like a Rui JHS, whatever draft compensation it takes to get that deal done. Corbin, what is your starting five if the Lakers get Miles Turner?
Turner at the 5, Edie at the 4, LeBron to 3, Max 2, Reeves 1.
Your bench is Gabe, Dalton, DFS Vando.
I mean,
still have Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood. Oh my God, go get a deal done.
Like, yeah, because in my mind, like
so damn good.
Yeah, like that's deeper. That has more versatility. I don't know if I like LeBron at the.
That team's
I don't know if I like LeBron full time at the 3, but that's good.
Who cares? We'll be all right.
Oh man, listen, Sean's about to go out, man. Not like this.
On that note, let's get to wrap things up before I get too attached to the idea. Cause God,
that's yeah.
Just check ball.
Done. Ball up top.
Ball up top.
Yeah.
I don't care at this. I'm not avoiding anybody at that point. It's dog. Whoever we run into. I don't care.
Yeah, at that point, let's see what let it do what it do. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that for sure. That would be listen. I mean, like again, if he's
even
available,
if you get Walker Kessler, like even if it's Walker Kessler,
same rules apply. He's the 5, AD's the 4. Yeah.
I'm getting my hopes up over here. You guys let me know what your thoughts are about everything we discussed in the comment section below. I'm Sean Davis. You can follow me on X/Twitter at Sean_DAVI. Go follow my guy Corbin at Corbin NBA and check out the Indie Basketball Podcast as well. Man, oh man. Also, might as well announce this here. I'm sure we'll get some guests on, maybe even Corbin, but February 6th, mark the date in your calendars. Trade deadline day. I'll be going live bright and early because the trade deadline does not care about West Coast people. So I'll be live bright and early here on the channel, 11 o'clock Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. So get up, get your coffee, get everything you need. We'll be live for a 3-hour trade deadline stream. And then obviously if any deal is made on trade deadline day, we'll have you covered here on the channel. And that's going to wrap things up here. Until next time, guys, stay safe. And as always, go Lake Show. Catch you guys in the next one.